So I was thinking about something. Yesterday we were talking about the story of how we have a surplus of food, certain kinds of food, because of all the restaurants closing and theme parks and all these different places that aren't using food right now.
Yep.
So we have all this extra vegetables, all these extra milk. I heard there's a surplus of chicken wings.
Oh.
Because there's no stadiums or arenas and things like that.
No March Madness.
No March Madness, no
Yeah.
Buffalo Wild. Well, Buffalo Wild Wings is probably open, but they're not doing as much. So there's a surplus of wing store.
Yep.
Let's buy them up, bro.
Buy them up,
Let's
baby.
buy them up, fry them up.
Give me some
What?
ranch.
Yeah.
Give me some ranch.
Give me some butter.
How many?
I don't need
butter
butter.
wings.
You would do butter wings.
I would not
You would
put
do butter wings in a heartbeat.
Oh,
butter
Butter wings.
He would love it.
How would you eat butter wings?
Oh,
That-
yeah.
That's
I did
disgusting.
dip them. I did
Dip 'em.
dip 'em. Put
Butter,
them in the
butter.
butter. Dip 'em. Put them in the butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
The only
that
thing
You
song.
know what? Give me the butter wings. Hold the wings.
Oh, there's my butter man.
I sound like a 1970s
Yes, you do.
fast food ad.
Yeah.
So we know there's like all this, they're wasting all this surplus of food.
Yeah,
And we thought, like,
sucks.
man, why aren't they giving them to people who actually need the
Yeah.
food?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And it made me think of an old story from back in the day when I worked at McDonald's.
We ain't done yet. It's time for the P1 podcast.
Fun's not over yet.
Completely uncensored and unfiltered, except for that part.
Looking for the after party with it going.
The show's after show starts now.
Not sure if I ever told you guys this. I used to be the assistant manager at McDonald's in Gilroy when I was
were?
15.
Really?
I was 15 years
They
old.
let a 15-year-old be an assistant
Better
manager.
fucking believe
Think
it. buddy.
about that. As our kids are getting older,
Right?
my son Reed's almost 10.
Yeah.
10. You've got a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Yep.
Think about that. That's
In 5 years.
5 years. What am I talking about?
It's not that hard to math, Emily. They're 10. In 5 years, they'll be 15.
Listen,
Math not her strong
Nah.
suit.
It's not my strong suit.
But I just-
In 5 years,
Was he-
Taylor being
Yeah.
was he
assistant
that
manager.
good, or were the other employees that bad?
Fuck
Right?
you, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
can
saying.
finally say fuck you for saying
And
that.
how about who was your manager?
Bill.
And was Bill a fucking moron for letting a 15-year-old be in charge?
Kinda.
Yeah.
I would love to ask Bill.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll,
Yeah.
I'll be
Oh.
honest with you. You want to know one of the biggest reasons?
Why?
Well, Bill was a big fat guy.
How big are we talking? Like
Fat, dude.
I mean,
Like,
like,
oh,
Really,
like-
over 300 pounds.
was he tall too?
over 300?
He was a big man.
Like a big.
really big guy.
So what were we saying? Like 6'3", 340?
I don't know if he was that big.
Wow.
But he's the kind of guy who, he was a manager, so that means he had to wear the tie.
Yeah, How
Big was
the
that
button
white
down.
shirt? How big was that button down?
Big button-down shirt.
Yeah.
And then he would be the guy that would hook the keys to the belt loop.
Yeah. Fuck
Real
yeah.
fucking important.
Well, because you have to.
Yeah.
If you're a manager, you got to have the
And he had
store
way
keys.
more keys than he needed to have,
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And it was
that's-
on that string thing that
Yeah.
you pull it out and just...
That's a power.
Did he wear
move, bro.
glasses?
It is.
Yeah.
No.
That's surprising.
No,
I
he
thought for
didn't.
sure he
Did he
wore
have the
glasses.
hair where it was just only hair on the side?
Yeah, he had the cul-de-sac cut.
Yeah, for
Nice.
sure.
The giant,
Yeah.
on the side thing.
Oh, yeah.
And so because he was so fat and lazy, I was a hard worker. I literally was a hard worker. And so
Yeah.
he's like, I'll just have this kid do everything.
Oh.
and
How did the other
that's pretty much
employees
how it worked.
who were twice your age feel about this?
Yeah.
I was already there for a little while, so they liked me and they knew me. So I don't think they even cared,
Was
really.
did it make you uncomfortable though when you had to crack the whip?
That'd
like
be
what
weird.
the
To a
fuck?
42-year-old man?
Yeah.
This 15-year-old kid. Hey, Byron, you got time to lean, bro?
Oh, no.
Let's go.
Come on.
What happens if Byron was like, "Fuck you, Eddie"?
Byron, drop some nuggets, man. What you doing, bro?
Drop some nuggets.
Fuck, man.
Is that the lingo?
What?
Susan, what are you doing?
Susan.
We need more filet of fish.
They
on.
had, they had fillet of fish back then.
Yes, we had fucking filet of fish
I don't
back
think
then.
that's a crazy thing to say.
Oh, what, did you have meat back then?
That's
Huh?
not
Was-
Eddie, that's
Was it
not.
in black and white?
No, I'm just saying.
Talking about, of course we had filet of fish.
I thought fillet of fish was a '90s thing. I didn't know it was involved in the
A
'80s.
90s
I'm sorry. I
Filet
thought it
of
was.
fish?
I don't think it was that crazy to
It
say.
100% is.
When did the Big
weird.
Mac come along? Was it
It was
around
one of
then?
the first things. That's
Oh.
what they became.
Okay.
McDonald's, but the Big Mac.
What about the double quarter pounder? Did you have that
The
then?
double quarter
Or the
pounder.
quarter pounder with cheese?
What the fuck is
What about the
this
grilled
guy
chicken club? When did that
Well,
come
I
out?
don't know
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm just wondering.
September 1974. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Wow.
Just tell him anything.
What?
doing? Yeah.
McDonald's.
And I did make the first McRib
Oh,
in
here's this
Gilroy.
again.
Now, how do you know that?
on
Yeah,
First
how,
Street.
how do you know that
'Cause
for sure?
I was there.
But there's another McDonald's. Remember on
10th Street didn't
10th
get the
Street.
fucking McRib, bro.
How do you know
Because
that?
I taught. I was the one who was taught how to do it, and then I taught everybody else.
But
So I
maybe
had
there
the
was
first.
the guy on First Street.
It was
though.
the same owner. I know that we were the first. So shut the fuck up.
came-
You're not fucking taking that away from me.
I mean, maybe they told the guy at First Street he's the first.
I am First Street, asshole.
Oh, the guy at 10th Street. So
Asshole.
now maybe there's the guy who was at 10th Street who has a radio show claiming he's the fucking first.
What? What?
That would
don't
be
know.
pretty wild.
Yeah.
If back in the 80s, two guys who worked on the 1st and 10th Street Gilroy McDonald's
yes.
now both have their own radio show.
And both make this crazy
claim-
claim. Yeah. It's a crazy fucking Matrix world out there, bro.
Chainsaw?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And who taught you? Did they have a McDonald's corporate have like a McRib expert come in that like teaches you what to do?
I don't
The
really
hamburger
remember.
came in.
In all honesty, I think it might have been a training video.
Like a cassette?
You would
God,
get
how bad would
videos.
that
You know,
video probably
you'd
was?
have to do like
VHS.
the VHS training things for different stuff.
Yeah.
And so it might have been that, and then I learned how to do it, and then I had to teach everybody else because that
wow.
was really important.
So you basically taught yourself how to make a McRib because if you're
I
watching
might
it from a
have.
video,
I might have.
Wow, he
I
was
don't.
that
I don't
good.
really remember.
you'd think Bill would show you how to do it.
Oh, that fat fuck, he wasn't doing shit.
Oh,
He was just eating the McRibs. He was
Shit,
eating
dude. No, he was just drinking the barbecue sauce. Straight.
okay.
straight sauce.
I don't know if that's true.
Straight sauce.
Oh, Bill.
He walked into his office. He's drinking the
Now
fat,
he's
pouring it
just
into his
covered in
mouth.
sauce.
He's rubbing his nipples.
Eddie, do the schedule.
Is that how he sounded?
Nah.
Was he a cigarette smoker?
What? Yeah, he actually was.
No.
How
He's
unhealthy
like, I'm
was
gonna
this
go
guy?
take my 10.
Oh, Bill's fucking definitely dead then.
What? Oh,
For
there's
sure.
no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Doubt. Don't doubt.
R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
Bill.
I loved him though.
Oh.
You wait.
He gave me my shot.
Hold the
He
fuck
gave
on.
me my shot.
You
Loved
loved him.
Absolutely.
You loved Bill.
Absolutely.
Wow.
He gave me my shot. He believed in me.
Really?
He gave me
So,
the confidence
time
to
out.
go on and continue to be great.
Time out. Time out. Time out.
Be
So,
great.
if you didn't get the assistant manager job, your life would be completely
I
different.
would never be the host
true.
of this show.
That's true.
Really?
How could I have the confidence
Same
to
with
be a
the
leader?
guy. Same with the guy on 10th Street.
Fuck you,
Oh,
Scott.
for the same radio show?
Fuck
yeah,
you,
he'd
Scott.
never be a host right
Wow.
now. Either.
Wow.
10th Street, they're all probably all fucking homeless now.
Heroin
God.
And
addicts.
just heroin addicts.
Oh my God.
This is a shit.
Oh,
10th
sure.
Street were fucking just losers. I went and did one shift.
Losers.
I did one shift at 10th Street. Those fucking idiots didn't know how to do anything.
Oh my
So you
gosh.
guys are fucking
Remember-
pieces of shit over here.
Remember
God.
when we
I walked out.
You pieces of shit.
I don't need no
That's
10th
really
Street.
wild.
I don't need no 10th
harsh.
Street.
That's pretty wild.
That's really
crazy
harsh.
manager.
Yeah.
Remember when we had Jeff Garcia on?
Yeah.
And he's also from Gilroy,
Yes.
former quarterback.
Right.
And he did mention hanging out at the McDonald's on First Street.
He knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
Well, because that was the hub. First Street was the hub.
This
The
is,
hub
this is
of-
a hot town.
Yeah, Gilroy.
The hub of Gilroy?
Yeah. So this is what we would do in high school.
God.
And me and Jeff would hang
Yeah.
out. Is there was the McDonald's, and right behind the McDonald's is Taco Bell, and we
Oh,
shared
shit.
a parking lot,
Oh,
and then
fuck.
on the side before it got huge. It was like a field, an open field. And so you'd park your car in the parking lots of either Taco Bell or McDonald's, and then you'd probably get food or whatever, and then you'd go drink in the field.
Oh, snap. That's
It's
hot.
not a very big town, guys. Not a lot
Yeah,
going on.
what? This is what you did?
Yeah, we
Now,
didn't,
was
I mean,
there-
we didn't have anything to do.
Oh my God.
At night,
Now,
so.
was it like a rival gang thing between the McDonald's crew and the Taco Bell crew? Kind of like an Anchorman
yeah.
where they
You know
fight
what?
each other
Yeah.
with the tridents
Throwing
and
like
shit?
chalupas at each
Great
other.
question.
Yeah.
Shockingly, no. There was
Really?
a kinship amongst us
Yeah.
Oh.
where we would
Wow.
share food with each other.
Well, because I was
you
saying, you don't always want McDonald's. You might want some Taco Bell.
yeah,
once
so
in a
if
while,
I'd
change it
walk
up.
over there in my uniform, they'd know what's up. They'd hook me up. Somebody walk over in their Taco Bell uniform, I'd hook them up.
Did the Taco Bell crew and not like the 10th Street McDonald's or other fast food restaurants as well?
Oh.
I would imagine so. I think
Damn,
we
son.
only had one Taco Bell, so I don't know that they had any rival gangs.
You know, I never asked this. Was there a Burger King in Gilroy?
Whoa. Murmur.
There was a A&W.
Oh,
Okay.
old school.
There was a Foster's Freeze.
Okay.
There had to be a Burger King. There was a Wendy's.
I would have went to the Wendy's.
Nobody went to Wendy's. They fucking sucked.
Oh, my God.
In high school.
Oh, my
They
God.
fucking sucked. There was Jack in the Box.
Oh.
Jack in the Box was right by my junior high school, and I
Oh.
would eat there every day.
Oh.
You cheat on McDonald's.
Well, I mean, I was before I worked at McDonald's.
Oh, okay.
Because I was junior high, and then I'd
Yeah.
walk home, or ride my bike home, and I would stop by Jack in the Box and grab something to eat.
The same
usually.
bike you would ride to work every day to be assistant manager.
the very one.
Right out of
very
junior,
same
right
one.
out of junior high school.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is hot.
We're totally off topic here.
Yeah, we
guys.
are.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
what are we
I have a
talking
lot of
about? I
questions.
don't know.
Yeah, you could ask. Wasting of the food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I hear they're dumping just tons and tons of milk just down the drain. They're just crop
Yeah.
Dylan, what's that thing called?
Crop dusting.
No,
I think that's what
they're not
somebody
crop
farts.
dusting.
That's
They're
what somebody farts in one's
they're-
bike.
they're
Tilling?
Rototilling.
Tilling.
Rototilling.
They're just tilling it back in.
Crototilling.
No, they're just
What?
They're
tilling.
tilling.
Proper
They're,
tilling.
they're
I don't think
krilling,
so.
Dylan, and
Yeah.
tilling, man.
Okay,
What?
you guys, really?
Yeah, they're just killing the crops because
Yeah.
nobody's buying all the zucchinis and shit.
Yep, it's
And
crazy.
so-
So many fucking zucchinis.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we were saying yesterday, like, why don't they give those to like the food banks and
Yeah.
like all these people who need food right now?
And then Sky
homeless
yelled at
people.
us, remember?
She's like, man, they cost
They
money.
ain't
to
cost
pick 'em
money, you
and
piece of
fuck
shit.
Well,
Fuck
yeah.
them.
You gotta pick it. You gotta
God.
package it. You gotta transport it. That all costs money. You can't do that. That's not
God.
free.
Well, why
fuckers.
you're just gonna waste it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I
Seems
mean,
horrible.
Seems like a big waste.
yeah, it sucks. But if somebody gives them the money to pick it, pack it,
Let
and
me tell you
transport
something.
it,
Let me tell you something. I have a farm. I have a Papani farm.
You do.
you're
a
orange
minute.
We're known for our citrus.
Yes, you are.
Listen, I'm not letting my oranges go to waste.
you're
Anybody wants them, I'll drive them right to their house.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Why would they like, let them go to rot?
Yeah.
No.
I know.
It's horrible.
I know.
I respect that.
Thank you.
Wow.
Like if Thor had a surplus of eggs,
No,
Yep.
not this.
Hey, I
again.
gave some eggs today. That's all I got, baby.
that's a lie.
Oh, he
I know
has,
you
like,
have.
He's
way
the
more.
worst.
Plethora.
He's the
You're an egg
fucking
hoarder.
worst. He
I'm
is
not an
he
egg-
is an egg hoarder.
I'm not an egg hoarder. My
Yeah.
girlfriend's an egg hoarder.
What a bitch.
He blames everything on her.
Yeah, totally.
So that kind of breaks my heart that we're wasting all this food, and I
Yeah.
know that people need it. It makes me sad. We're on camera, Thor.
What did he just do?
Thor goes, like he could give a shit. Such an asshole.
No.
So that really bothered me. It really did, and it got me thinking of when I was working at McDonald's. When I worked at McDonald's, I would feed 2 homeless guys every single day.
Wow.
What do you
What?
mean? You'd feed them?
Well,
Really?
Back then, the way it would work is we'd have this warming bin, and you'd say, for like lunch rush or whatever, you'd tell the grill. I was the guy that would tell them what I needed.
Oh, tough guy.
So
Look at
I'd
this
go
guy.
out there and I'd be like, "Give me 10 cheese, give me 4 Big Macs, give me 6 this."
Wow.
Give me that. And I tell them, and then they bring them, they put them up, and then I put them in the warming bin. And then when you come through and order, that's where we grab them from.
Yeah.
Instead of having to wait for them to cook.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, that's how
Yeah.
it would work.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ordered in advance.
Huh.
Yeah. And so now it's actually different. Now they'd have like a assembly line. I've noticed at McDonald's now. So when you order, they do make it kind of fresh,
Oh.
Yeah.
which is probably way better.
Right.
but that's how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And so when the lunch rush was over, food could only sit in the bin for a certain amount of time. They had like restrictions on it.
Oh,
and so if they were in there for like 30 minutes, you have to toss it.
Oh.
And I'd be
Oh.
like, that's a lot of waste.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot.
I don't want to waste that.
That's
so
a lot of meat.
Either the employees would take it and they just eat it, or we'd have to literally throw it away and it'd go right in the dumpster.
Jeez.
And it's like that's a lot of food, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I had noticed when I would take the trash out or whatever that there'd be these homeless guys, a couple of these homeless dudes.
Yeah.
Billy and Simon.
Oh,
Billy and Simon, huh?
Now,
I
are those
completely remember them.
You
I
remember their
completely
names.
remember
those
their
aren't
names.
made up names?
No,
Those are their
Billy
real-
and Simon.
Did you have conversations with these guys?
Yeah. Well, eventually, at first I got scared shitless.
Well, because here's the deal with homeless people. I mean, sometimes they could be a little crazy.
Yeah.
And
But sometimes
talk to
they're just
themselves.
down on their luck.
Yeah, you don't know.
Okay.
And so
Now, what are Billy and Simon? Are they old? Are they young? Have they been? Do they look like they've been on the streets for a while?
yes.
Okay.
Very stinky.
Okay.
Like the big beard. One guy,
Oh.
I think it was Billy. He had the big beard.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
then Simon just was whatever.
What are we in our 40s, our 50s?
It's hard to tell, to
Yeah,
be honest with you.
really?
Yeah.
I'm
Better
Okay.
shot at being
And I was
alive.
15, so everybody looked old to me.
Eddie,
so
better
true.
shot at being alive. Billy and Simon or your old manager Bill?
Question Billy and Simon.
All day.
Question.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that these two guys were going through the dumpsters, pulling out food to eat, which that's heartbreaking too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that sucks.
And so instead I said, you know what, guys, we're throwing this food away anyway. Why don't I just give you the food before I throw it in the dumpster, or I'll leave it for you like right here? And they would be like, oh man, that would be amazing. So every day at like, I don't know, 2 or whatever it was, I would bring out a bag. I would actually put it in a trash bag, but I wouldn't put any other trash in
Yeah.
it. But I'd I'd
food.
load up, I don't know, 50 sandwiches in there or
Whoa.
whatever, and then I'd give it to them.
Somebody get McDonald's on the line. We have
Why?
a thief.
Thief!
We have a McDonald's.
I'm not the
fucking
Hamburglar.
Thief. You are the
am
Hamburglar.
not the Hamburglar.
Do you know how much
Damn.
money he must have cost McDonald's?
was in the garbage, you
I want
dipshit.
all that back pay
Hey.
going to McDonald's.
What?
Wow.
What are you talking about?
back
It would have been
pay.
in the garbage.
That's where it should have been. I don't want people getting
Wow.
free meals.
I mean,
Oh my God, but they
you-
were down on their
They
luck.
weren't buying. They weren't buying it,
They
and
could-
they were going through the dumpster anyway.
Wow.
Not cool, man.
What are you talking about?
I don't know who to
Write 'em
call,
up.
Ronald or the mayor,
Ooh.
about this.
Oh, here we go.
You're gonna be off the
Really?
board.
Here we
You're gonna
go.
be off the
Off
board.
the board.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? I'll get a fucking medal.
A medal.
A
That's right.
medal.
I don't know. It must be nice stealing from
I
McDonald's. I'm
didn't
glad you
steal a
got
thing.
fries.
I didn't steal a thing.
I'm glad you got fries throwing you that day.
Wow.
What the fuck did you just say? I'll fucking. I swear to
Oh,
God.
that was-
I'll fucking murder you.
Oh my
That
God,
was
he's
one.
really pissed.
Yeah.
fucking say that
yeah,
to me.
He doesn't like that.
You don't fucking say that to me.
Yeah.
I did something a little bit more like the opposite of this. Back in my day, I was a sandwich artist at
You worked at-
Einstein's.
You were
that's
not a
right.
sandwich artist.
I was a
she's
sandwich
an
artist at
artiste.
Einstein's. I worked the line.
I've heard about your work.
I worked the line
I
there
heard she was
at
in the
Einstein's.
freezer getting high.
That's
That
true.
was once in a while. Every
You
shift
were at
when the
work?
manager would leave in the afternoon after the morning rush. Maybe
you
that's
have
what
a
we all
bill?
did.
Perfect.
I didn't have a bill. There was actually some really mean bitch that was in charge there. I remember her. She was
my
like an
God.
older lady, and she was super fucking mean.
Oh my God.
Like I remember her being a
My
bitch.
God.
So when I would close, which was a couple days a week, they can't keep the bagels. They have to
Toss them.
throw them away,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
all the bagels in the bin.
I always
So-
wondered about that.
Yeah.
Like if I'm first to show up in the morning, do I get last night's bagels or do I
A
get
freshie.
freshies?
I would
Yeah.
hope fresh.
No, they're
Yeah.
fresh every day.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
They bake them every day. And so we would put them in big trash bags, and it was like 2 trash bags full of bagels. And that was awesome. The reason we left them out the back door was because there was a Bill and a Simon type of people that
Billy.
would come over, Billy and Simon.
Oh, sorry.
And they would come.
Thank you.
I
And
got
they would
free
take the
food his whole
bagels.
life.
For a while.
You
did while I was there.
know why? You know, the guy probably was like down on his luck. He's like, I'm not getting food. Maybe I'm going to change my life. Oh no, here's more free food from Eddie. I don't know. I'll stay homeless forever.
I'm sure they fed the entire homeless camp.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep,
Their
that's
cholesterol must have been out of this world.
Are bad.
that's exactly what was going on there.
Oh, that's
we
cool.
knew that this group of homeless people were going to go bring it back to all their homeless people, and they would
nice.
all eat bagels and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Were they all
awesome.
Jewish?
I don't know.
That would be a win.
bonus,
win.
right?
Yeah.
Jews? That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Score.
Very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. Jews don't
Yeah.
usually do that kind of
Take
stuff.
care of themselves.
Yeah.
And so I
Thor's
saw.
Jewish.
Oh
I
yeah,
am Jewish.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
allowed
I
to
am a
make that
Jew.
joke.
I'm allowed to
Yeah,
make that joke. Okay.
And so I saw the bagels out there and knew that they were taking them, but I also thought, why can't I take some home? And
What?
so
You piece of
I
shit.
went in the bag and I would take
You
my
steal
own
from the homeless?
giant, my own giant paper bag, paper, the paper to go Einstein giant, like a grocery
You know what's
bag.
fucking
I would
crazy?
go in there and take my share of bagels.
Emily.
And
You know
I'd
what's
give them to
fucking
some of my
crazy?
friends.
Is that nothing has changed.
Nothing has
Emily
changed.
still does that.
yeah, that's
Yep.
true.
Every time, when we were in the
100%.
studios and we get fruit on Fridays, Emily will take some home every single Friday.
Yep.
And she'll go through it and she'll get
Yeah.
mad at Thor if Thor wants to take some too or whatever.
Yep.
And if we're like, oh, that you can't take that, we got to throw that away. No, she'll take it home.
She'll
And then
take it
she
home.
feeds her family with
And
it.
she feeds
Thank
her
you.
family. And
That's
she
what I
gets
do.
mad at you if you try to take some too.
yeah.
And
Yep.
she may or may not take the dishes as well, but that's a whole nother-
That's all I'm
Sky!
I
It's
will-
the
I
ramekins.
said-
Shut
your mouth, Sky.
Oh.
I
It's
said
the
may
ramekins.
or may not.
Allegedly.
100%.
Allegedly, I might
She
have
does that.
a couple ramekins.
That
Yeah.
could be,
So you would help yourself
Yeah.
to the bagels?
They don't need 2 giant trash bags.
They're
so I
homeless.
figured I'd take a little.
Like, I haven't eaten all day.
I'd fill a grocery bag up for myself.
grocery bag?
Wow.
And I guarantee she left them with like the onion bagel.
No, those are my favorite. I would
Oh.
leave them with the sweet ones.
She
Like-
wouldn't. Cinnamon raisins.
Cinnamon,
Fuck that.
the cinnamon raisins and the
Ew.
cranberry bagels.
Crunch.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Cinnamon sugar, no.
Wow.
I take the everythings in the sesemes.
The good ones.
Holy-
She
Oh,
take
The good ones.
She
You
take the good
bitch.
ones.
And maybe once in a while there'd be bagel dogs in there that I take too.
Ew.
Bagel dog.
Ew.
A day old
disgusting,
bagel
dude.
dog.
That's
Dude.
so gross,
You're
dude.
so fucking gross.
Well, clearly we're a group of givers here because
not.
well, okay,
I've never
that's-
done this before.
Well, you
that's-
also never really worked at a.
I was an assistant.
You were a
server.
busboy.
I was an
You were a
assistant server.
busboy.
Busboy.
They're-
I was an
Assistant
assistant
server's not a
server.
job.
Yeah,
That is a
that's not
job.
thing.
No, it's
University
not.
Club, 7th downtown Symphony Towers, assistant server.
Can you sit down?
Yeah, that's
Why are you
weird. that
standing
said
up?
I don't know.
that. Yeah, I don't like that. So I used to work at a restaurant, a breakfast lunch
here we
place,
go.
and
She's the best server of all
Here
time.
we
Not this
go.
time. I'm best server on the show right now.
That's
all
true.
right, all right. Well, we'll get back
Server
to
challenge.
that. And so it used to, where I used to work was right next to this really big park. So like a ton of homeless people would always hang out there. And so what
I would go and spit on them. I would eat my food right in front of them. I'm like, oh, this is so good.
I'd promise them money, making them do things, and then laugh and walk away.
Sky, you're like Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man?
No,
That's
no.
horrible.
You ever watch bum fights? I have.
I created it.
Shut up.
You fucked up, Sky.
Google Sky's bum fights. Great fucking videos.
Not a thing.
Fucking videos.
That is not a thing.
Winner gets half a pancake.
Half a pancake.
Oh, you're a stingy bitch.
Hey, that's fucked up, Sky.
Oh my
Why would
god,
you do
that's
that?
so fucking evil.
So listening to your stories is really making me reflect, because what I used to do every day
my stomach hurts.
is I would collect at the end of my shift all the bread, like all the day-old bread and pastries and whatever, and I would bring it in a big fucking bag, like you guys said, like a fucking garbage
And
bag.
I'd light it on fire right in front of them. And I'd say, burn, baby. Burn.
I'd show them all what was in the bag, gather them all up, and then piss on it in front of them.
I would dump the bagels out right in front of them and take a shit on them. And it's just spread. Loser.
We don't have cream cheese today.
Don't you wish you had a kitchen? You're awful, Scott.
And while they ate, I called the police for loitering.
Okay, while all
God,
these
Sky,
jokes,
why would you do these things?
You're the worst human
Oh my
I've ever
God.
met,
That's
Scott.
while all these jokes are really fucked up and not true,
Um,
I do have to say I would take the bag of all the bread, and I would go to the park every day.
and say, here's the body of me. Enjoy.
I would, again, I'm not doing that. Okay, that one really got Emily.
Oh, we're Catholic. We get that joke.
Okay. I mean, right before Easter.
Right,
like,
fucking a sweet Catholic
On
joke
Good
before
Friday.
Easter.
Horrible joke, Eddie. Horrible joke.
My stomach hurts. Oh my god, that was the best thing ever.
Okay, I want to preface,
okay.
I was young, I'm not a bad person, but what I would do is I would take the bag full of bread, and then in front of all the homeless people, I would feed the fucking ducks every day. You can't drop your microphone. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, oh, the cute ducks.
So she would take all this food in
It
front
was
of the
bread.
homeless
It
people.
was bread.
Look at this. Look at the ducks. They're so fat.
So many ducks.
These ducks weigh more than you do.
Ducks, would you like
so
some
many
bacon
ducks.
too? Here you go.
I didn't give a
Crack it
bacon.
up, fuckers.